Hey friends, today we're talking about volume. Volume is the amount of space that something occupies. So when you fill up a glass of water, the water is occupying space. It's taking up volume. The way that we find volume is we take the area of the big base times the height. What do I mean by the big base? I mean the bottom of the shape, whatever its base is. So in a prism, the base is always a circle, a triangle, a rectangle, whatever the base is. And remember, the base, there's only two of them in a prism, while in a pyramid, there's one. So this only works for prisms. So let's look at cylinders. Cylinders have a base of a circle. Okay, so you're going to find the area of the big base, the area of the circle, and multiply it by the height. Think about it as if this were the water level. Okay, so right when you fill it in, to start off with, the water is being filled up, okay? And it reaches every point of the base first. And then as you fill the water, it rises higher and higher until it reaches the other base, the top. So that's why you're multiplying it by the height. Okay, so to find the area of a circle, we take pi times the radius and we square it. Remember, the radius is half of the diameter, which stretches from one end to the center. Okay, so we're going to take that times our height. So if we have diameter, we have to find radius, which would be, in this case, 10. The height is 14. So we're going to plug it in the formula. So we write the formula, V equals the big base times the height. And in this case, the big base is a circle, pi times radius squared, and we're multiplying it times the height. So pi is 3.14, radius is 10 in this case. We're going to square it, and our height is 14. So we square the 10, we get 100, take that times pi, and we get 314, take that times the height, or 14, and we get 4,396. And these are units cubed. Why? Because if you were filling this up, you would fill it with all of these three-dimensional shapes, these cubes. So we always cube our units in volume. Just like in area, we square it. In volume, we cube it. Okay, so over here, why don't you try this one? The volume is the big base times the height. So in this case, the base is a circle. So pi times the radius squared times the height. Go ahead and plug in your numbers, pause the video, and I'll be back in just a second to show you the answer. Okay, so the way we do this is we plug in our pi, we plug in our radius, which is 6, and we plug in our height, which is 11. So we're taking 66 times pi, which when we do that, we get 207 and 24 hundredths. We're going to multiply that by 11, and when we do that, we get 2,279 and 64 hundredths. When in doubt, we always round to the nearest hundredths, so we can leave this. And again, it's units cubed for the volume. Okay, you try this one on your own. I'll be back in just a second to show you the answer. Okay, even though it's laying down on this 9 centimeter, this circle is still the base. So the radius is 1/2 of the diameter, so the radius is going to be 3. And let's plug it in. The big base is pi r squared times our height. So pi times 3 squared, which is 9, or 81 pi, which if we change this pi to 3.14, we get 254 and 469 using our calculator. So the volume's about 254 cubic centimeters. Let's round it to the nearest hundredth, though, and say it's 254 and 47 hundredths, and these are centimeters cubed. Okay, so let's recall back to last year where we found the volume of rectangular prisms. Or maybe you didn't ever remember doing this. So we need to recall how we would find the volume of this shape. So this is a rectangular prism. The volume formula is still the same. Let's change that color. So the volume equals the big base times the height. In this case, our bottom layer is a rectangle. And we know that to find the area of the rectangle, we take the base times the height, or the length times the width. Okay, either one of those will work. So remember, you're taking it times the entire height of the shape, which is 16. So we take 14 times 23 times 16. Okay, make sure you recall that. Go ahead and try the rest and compare these two to decide which holds more. I'll be back in just a second to show you what I did. Okay, so let's take a look at my work. Make sure that you have your work shown, and why don't you check this in red pen for me? Okay, so if you don't have a red pen, just find a different colored pen or pencil or even a marker. All right, so we took the big base times the height, which is the length times the width. We multiplied that by the height of the shape, and we got 5,152 inches cubed. Over here, we found the area of the circle, which was pi times the radius squared, or 9 squared times 3.14, and we multiplied it by the height of the shape, which is 23. When we got that, we got 5,852 and 8 inches cubed. And that's all I've got for you today. See you later.